Welcome to the show your parents, the PTA and the asleep don't want you to hear. The heliosblog. Today, Andrew Wilson versus Pixie. And they talk about if you could choose to have all correctional guards be men or women, which would you choose? Off we go.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
Posed a question to Pixie that I don't think received a response and an answer. The question was, it was a jail scenario, I believe, where if it could be all men or all women correction officers.
Prefer, yeah.
I don't think we got a response on that. Pixie.
Oh yeah, well, if you're in a jail and I would not say batons are the same equalizer as a gun is, then
You
yeah,
don't have to use
obviously
batons.
guys.
You can have guns.
No. So the question was, if you could have an all-female or an all-male correction staff, which would you pick? And I think it was same exact training.
Yeah, so Andrew has already he's already debated with Pixie, and he's talked about the idea that if all women on Earth gained all the guns and all the men lost them, within 3 days men would have control again, because it's not about the guns really. It's actually about how everything boils down to a force contest which women lose. Doesn't matter. The only reason that we live in such a nice egalitarian society is because men allow it. If men didn't allow it, women could do nothing to stop it. And in fact, there are many countries where that has happened, where when men decide that women have no rights, they just don't. And there are many countries right now, 2024, where this applies.
Same training, same weapons.
Same weapons.
They could be guns.
If you had to pick one, which would you pick?
No.
There's plenty of prisons that use guns. And they don't even use batons hardly. They use guns.
Are they the same level of, again, this all goes back to me.
Random. They're just random correction officers who have the same exact training with weaponry, same exact training for control.
Okay. Just because you have the same exact training doesn't necessarily mean that you're at same levels, or maybe you couldn't quantify for this for me or whatever. Accuracy and speed, those are my number one concerns.
Well, we know this from martial arts. You could have a girl with 10 years experience and a man with 10 years experience in martial arts. They're in different categories for a reason. There was literally a woman that quit the Olympics because she got punched so hard by a girl that was supposedly not a girl, that she quit within 40 seconds. The average man punches harder than a trained professional woman fighter. Just so you know. Now, if you take a fat man, like Andrew, for example, who's clearly overweight, weight adds a lot to punching power. Like a guy like him, if he punches an Olympic athlete girl hard, she's quitting. He punches even harder than that girl that was supposedly not a girl.
I'm going to even grant this and say that the women inside of this correctional facility with their firearms are more accurate than the men and slightly faster in the deployment of those firearms. You would pick the women?
Yes. And if the guys were more accurate and faster, because here's the deal. You can't, you could try, but if you're going to go after someone and try to take their gun and they're a faster, more accurate shooter, good fucking luck, No. Again, just like how this is in a John Wick movie, the vast
I don't think you understand. A girl who's well trained is going to get overpowered by a random inmate. I don't think you understand that.
vast majority of people, once you shoot them, are fucking down. That's just it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's my number one concern is accuracy.
Don't get too close with your gun in the holster.
This counter.
Yeah.
The prison inmates are very upset about the fact that there's a bunch of armed bitches running around this prison, and they're like, they are more accurate than the men, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know to what degree, but let's just say twice as accurate.
That would be.
And they're slightly faster than the men. And so the prisoners go, yeah, but we don't fucking care because they're a bunch of women and we're way stronger than them. Would it be easier for them to overpower those women, you think, than the men?
Well, the reason why I keep saying accuracy and speed is so important is because, yeah, they could try.
Well, I mean, how accurate do you need to be point blank with a gun? Not very accurate, right?
Yeah, but if they're basically, my concern about speed is just like, yeah, good luck wrestling the gun away if the person.
I don't think you understand how guns work. The gun is in a holster. You gotta reach down, pull it out, get your proper stance, aim, then fire. That takes a while. That takes like a good 10 seconds. If a guy's mad at you, you don't have that 10 seconds. You don't even have 5 seconds. The guy's real mad. You get too close, it's done. I don't think she really underestimates how strong men are. Even an average, like a random inmate, average man in the United States. What's the average height of men in the United States? 5'10"? Average man, average build, 5'10", 175 pounds, let's say. 5'10", 175 pounds man. If they're angry, they're pretty damn fast and strong. You don't have 10 seconds to pull out your gun, aim, and fire. You don't have that time. You're going to get beat up before then.
Just kills you.
And you think even in that scenario that women would have the advantage over less accurate and less fast shooters than women would inside of a prison environment?
Yes, I think the number one when it comes to guns, if you're accurate, fast enough, nobody's going to be.
And how much easier would it be for men then to overpower those women?
Yeah, I think it would be substantially harder because they would just die.
They're just so quick, right?
Yeah, because we're seeing
even though they're only
these
slightly
scenarios.
faster than the men.
Oh no,
would
you
be.
said what is it? Or did you say
They're way
accuracy
more
was
accurate,
twice?
but they're only slightly quicker.
Okay.
But even if we doubled their speed, do you realize when you quantify this that what you're talking about is reloading a magazine from 3 seconds to 6 seconds? That's speed, right? That's speed. When you're talking about accuracy, you're talking about the difference between hitting here and hitting there, which who gives a shit? Who cares if I hit your button or I hit you in the neck? It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. The men are clearly going to have an advantage over the women in every aspect of this scenario. Whether you give them melee weapons, you give them normal guns, it wouldn't matter if they were less trained than the women. Just the physical strength component of it alone is going to give them an advantage over women.
It's, again,
I think she thinks...
you can be a six...
I think she thinks that life is like a video game. Like, if you don't have strength, you could have speed and you could be just as good. Well, that's not how life works.
6 buff beefcake, whatever. If I have a gun and I shoot you before you can reach me, you're going to go down.
You do realize that men are less likely to go down than women are, especially if you shoot, even if you're shooting them center mass.
The vast majority of people...
You don't need the vast majority. You only need a few.
Okay. The reason why I say the vast majority is because I'm saying, like, on average, even a guy like that...
Okay, I'm telling you, if there's 2 angry inmates, you shoot one, the second one's got your gun immediately. You're not overpowering that guy. Because you're a girl. It's already over. All it takes is 2 guys to coordinate. Think inmates can't coordinate?
Most people, on average, are not going to be able to withstand a gunshot and keep going. It's not the John Wick movie.
Now, let me ask you this. You can invest in 2 prisons. You can invest in 2.
Okay.
Prison 1, they're going to hire female security or female, prison guards. Those female prison guards are going to fit this criteria. Yes, they're going to be far less strong than their male counterparts, okay? But they have been tested on the range, and on the range we have determined they do reload quicker, and they are more accurate with shot placement than the men. And we're going to give them all guns. They're going to guard the facility, all right? All females. Another one, it's all males who have slightly lesser standards, like I said, or even significant. They're way less accurate. When they're aiming here, they hit you there instead. And instead of a 6-second reload, you know what I mean? They have a 12-second reload speed, okay? You can invest your life savings, but only in these 2 options. Would you invest it in the female prison?
Everyone's got a plan till they get punched in the face. Let's put it that way.
or the male prison.
One more question. I'm sorry I'm being so specific about this. It just
Sure,
does
go
matter.
ahead.
In the earlier one, you said, they're less likely to respect a woman, so they're more likely to revolt. Is this the case here too?
Well, no, I'm only giving you these qualifiers.
Okay.
And the qualifiers are it fits your criteria. The all-female guards who are going to be guarding the most horrific rapists, murderers, and lunatics that you can think of. But they're all going to be armed. And it's going to be the same exact weaponry that the men have in a counter prison in this hypothetical. In this case, the women do reload swiftly, right? They can pull the trigger even faster than the men can. And their shot placements are above par of that of their male counterparts.
I'll go with a woman. I'm always going to put...
You would invest your money in the female prison.
Yes, I'm going to put my money where whoever is more accurate and faster. Because good luck being...
She believes in male-female equality. Like, she believes that men and women are exactly the same. Like, she might say she doesn't believe it, but the decisions she makes and what she actually... her actions imply that she believes it, which with women, as we know, is more important.
As buff as you want, if I get to shoot you twice or even once in most cases before you get at me, you know? Now,
do you agree that women, for these jobs, you mentioned stigma, for a job like a prison inmate, would you agree that female prison guards for the same work probably make a slightly lesser wage?
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. So then how come somebody doesn't just make an all-female prison with these categories where they could pay these women way less of a wage?
Well, I think what we were probably describing before, I think maybe I'm wrong, but to my understanding, like, they usually don't want people to result into lethal force, right? We're talking about, like, in the examples you gave me, at least my understanding.
What do you mean? There's prisons all over the world where they only use guns.
I thought we were talking about the United States. But even, I thought we were
even
talking
in
about
the United States,
Even
there
the
are
United
maximum
States,
security prisons where there's guys on the walls with guns. Yeah.
Okay, let me phrase it this way. When you gave me the original scenario, what I'm thinking is, okay, like, inmates are trying to escape, whatever.
Yeah, they would be trying to escape in these scenarios too. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. In real life, usually, first of all, usually I would say probably more men are applying. I don't think women are very interested in being female guards.
Yeah, sure. They're not interested.
Prisons.
That's why they're selecting. They're selecting from this group, right?
Yeah. I'm saying, like, you're asking me why doesn't this play out in real life? And I'm saying, like, okay, well, in real life, here's a couple of things. There's not that many women interested.
Bovia's manslave donated $100. Answer: what is an R? Have you ever shot? What is the deadliest gun available? I trained with a judo Olympian who refused to train with men. No lethal force. Have you trained? Are you more educated on it?
Anyways, I'm not trained. We've established that I'm not shooting people. Regardless, back to the original question that you were saying about the guards. Why doesn't this happen in real life? Okay, well, not as many women are interested. That's
I know, but we're
reason.
selecting from a pool who are interested.
Yeah, I'm saying
and
that
you could definitely staff a prison with the selection of what is interested. That definitely fits the criteria that you put from the quick. Yeah, why couldn't you?
Because I don't think.
Why couldn't you go all around the United States to select for these guards, right? Yeah. And say, okay, we'll pay you a big bonus to come relocate over here, and you can be in this all-female prison.
Just trying to go on that massive hunt across the United States prisons to find the women who are the top caliber of shooting and accuracy.
Seems like a brilliant financial move.
No, it seems awful financially.
Why?
Because just the startup cost alone.
That's what all companies do. All companies scour the world for talent. Google scours the world for talent.
Okay. Yeah, Google,
why wouldn't a prison system do the same thing?
A multi-billion-dollar company is a very different.
Yeah. Startups and stuff don't do that necessarily. They would have, a base team, and as you go up the money ladder, shall we say, then they would be scouting for talent. That's what BlackBerry did, for example.
Different than your local prison system, who's also trying to just probably cut costs.
If I could staff tomorrow
And also
an all-female force, right, that I knew for sure I could pay less money than the male counterparts in a similar business around me, I'd be raking it the fuck in. What are you talking about?
First of all, I don't think it would be substantially enough.
No,
the level that you'd be paying them less would
Not
be
in the
enough
initial
to
year, but over
overset the
time,
onset startup cost of finding these women
The
to
highest
begin
cost
with.
in a business is payroll.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
there's startup costs. You know, like a startup, like
Yeah, that's what investors are for. They're looking at the long game, 25 years. They're not going to get a dime back for 25 years. What do you mean?
yeah, and these people also, it would not just be a one-time startup cost because women would obviously leave, and you're trying to find not just any woman, you're trying to find the top caliber woman.
Yeah.
No,
we
not
do
the
that in every
top
industry.
Yeah,
caliber.
we
All we're
established-
trying to do is find women.
They do that in like every. Again, this is just an example of muddying the waters, right? She's not trying to answer the question; she's trying to deflect.
Who generally, right, can reload their weapons faster and do better shot placement than the women or than the men.
Yeah.
There's got to be millions of those.
Yeah, no. Well, here, first of all, I don't know how many of those are prison guards. First of all, as we've established before, I said, oh, the number is probably like pretty low.
Oh, there's tons of female prisons worldwide. Tons.
Yeah, but how many prison female guards?
Well, I mean, how many would you need? Let's say you needed 100. He couldn't find 100?
You could.
Yeah, I think you would have to literally, again, as I stated before, spend a shit ton of money scouring for talent.
You have to do that if it's all men.
What? No, I don't think most pure prisons are looking for top caliber men to be prison guards.
What are they looking for?
They're looking for people who meet the basic requirements.
Which is that? They're fucking strong, right?
That they can, yeah, that they can
That they can
shoot or
manhandle
whatever.
inmates and that
Yeah.
they can deal with the rigors of a prison. In your
Sure.
case, you would staff your entire prison with women, even if we gave them these characteristics. It seems like you're just trying to avoid the idea that even if you could find them with these characteristics and bring them in, right, and pay them less money, how would that be a bad financial decision? You've already invested your life savings in such a prison.
No, because the reason why is because I'm telling you the startup cost alone of finding those women, and you're saying like this would have to be like a continuous thing. So, you know, people would be dropping out, coming back in.
Oh no,
whatever.
every business ever.
Yeah, I don't think, I don't think in general, unless if you're a multi-billion-dollar company like Google, you should be spending a significant amount of your resources scouring for like the number one talent or
Let's
whatever.
say if you could get state funding. It's going to be a small prison. It only requires 10 male guards on staff day and night. So you're rotating just 20 people. That's it. Okay? But the state they want you to house the worst of the worst, so they're giving you a larger stipend than they are anywhere else.
Yeah.
If
I
that
would
is the
still-
case and you could cut down in your private prison the payroll cost, you can't revolve 20 fucking women?
I think what is it when you're acting as, first of all, the pay gap is so like exponentially huge, which I don't necessarily think is the case. I think there might be a pay gap. I don't think it's
Well,
necessarily
then this
that
idea
big.
of you not going into it because of the stigma also is reduced immediately.
Yeah, it's reduced. No, it's reduced a pool of possible applicants. Let's start there.
Not much. If it's just a tiny pay gap, right?
Well, because there's a difference, as I've stated before, between let's say an institutional stigma versus a social stigma.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have a job that still pays pretty well. It doesn't necessarily take away the social stigma of being part of that job.
Yeah. So I
Like,
just
let's use garbage people.
yeah, I
for
just want to
example.
make sure. Let's use garbage people.
Yeah, so when it comes to like garbage, let's say specifically like garbage men in New York, they get paid really well. They get paid like bank. But I would say that in our society, we don't really value people who pick up garbage. I don't think that should be the case. I think those people are very necessary and vital for society to survive.
Are there a bunch of female garbage men?
No.
I don't think it matters. The point that I'm trying to get across
Does
here
matter.
Okay.
is that it's a clear example of something that can pay very well, but still has a social stigma attached to it.
Okay, but wouldn't that be a social stigma for men and women?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because what I'm trying to get across here is that you're saying, oh, look at this example. Like, you see they're paying well.
Yeah, I'm not really sure that there's a huge social stigma against garbage men, honestly.
I think
I really don't think so. I don't think anybody's like, oh, Your dad is, I don't, yeah,
Picks up garbage?
don't think so. I don't think
I don't
so.
know.
I don't think there's a big social stigma.
I think there's usually.
Not like
I
it
think
is for
that
ladies
women
in
aren't
the
garbage
90s.
men because they don't want to fucking do that job, and it's physically laborious,
I think
and
most
women
people
don't want to do.
Most people don't want to.
The most people don't want to do physically laborious jobs. I think you're gonna have to
Actually
back that
isn't
up.
true, yeah.
Because as it turns out, men, when they're polled on this, actually do enjoy physically laborious jobs, and that's why they gravitate towards them. The idea that kind of the socialists like you on the left say,
a lot of men actually don't mind them, and in fact, if they're paid well, will happily do them and enjoy them.
nobody wants to do a physically intensive job. Actually, there's quite a few people who only want to do physically intensive jobs. They get bored at a desk. They don't like working inside. Any number of different reasons.
The point is that our society, and hopefully we can just agree on this, doesn't really value physical labor maybe as much as it should.
It values them extremely.
Yeah, I think it does.
It
I think
does.
maybe women don't.
I don't think.
Maybe women don't value it because they don't do any of those jobs,
if that
so they
was
don't
the
know how.
case-
Yeah, women scorn those, but you literally can't have a high-rise building without builders. You can't have a road. You can't have electricity towers, internet. Like, you literally can't have anything. You can't have 4 walls and a roof. Like, plumbing. It's all done by men. Everything.
Valuable they are.
I think if that was the case, you would see a lot
return
of
to the
physical-
trades, which we're seeing over.
Yeah, we're seeing a huge resurgence of men going to trades jobs. And in fact, trades jobs pay even better than they used to because there's so little competition.
Overwhelmingly,
Yeah,
that you would see tons of men gravitating towards more of the trades job,
They are.
which are now doing overwhelmingly.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know about the word overwhelmingly.
No.
Second of all, I think
are.
you would see like basically their
of
pay
them.
to be that or equal that of like CEOs essentially,
What?
or
What?
scientists, or doctors, or lawyers.
Yeah, electricians are.
Actually, engineers, doctors, lawyers usually don't make as much money as a CEO. They make far less. Depends on the company. And actually, electrician, plumber, carpenter, roofer, they get paid pretty well. Like,
making pretty close to what scientists are making.
Yeah, I don't think that's
More.
true.
It is true.
for-
In fact, if you look at nurses,
Scientists, 50,000 USD per year. They don't get paid that much. I think carpenter, electrician, and so on get paid more. I think.
often will make pretty close to what like a social scientist might make, or close to what a university scientist might even make. They may not get tenured, but they make something similar. Master electricians, they make often what nurses.
I know what is it.
Yeah.
I know that there's certain physical labor jobs that are getting paid very well right now.
Trade jobs.
Yeah,
Trades.
trade jobs.
All trade jobs.
Skilled trades.
I don't know about all trade
Welder,
jobs,
I
but
forgot.
even if I grant that, two things.
Machinist.
Again, there is still a stigma that is hopefully changing. The stigma is still kind of there,
From
though.
who?
No.
Second of all,
From men?
There's a stigma.
not from both.
There's a stigma towards women maybe that are in trades, but I would disagree. Unless they're incompetent and they're just there because they want to get paid that salary without doing the work.
Men and women, honestly.
I don't think there's a big stigma towards the trades from men,
I think.
since men are the ones who are
I
doing
think
all the
this
trades.
is a class
Yeah, this
thing,
is-
honestly. I think it
Women
is like
see
a
it that
class
way.
sort of thing. Not even like men or men versus women. I think there is some level of upper society that views getting your hands dirty as a dirty thing. I'm
I
not
think
saying
that
it should be.
women
I'm
will
just saying
often
it
consider
is.
themselves in prestigious jobs that aren't particularly prestigious, and will often, I think, that
Yeah,
the stigma
I think-
towards the trades comes from females who look down on the trades, not because men, I don't think men are looking down on the
there's
trades.
a good amount of CEOs and other.
There are
Yeah,
CEO
I don't know.
tradesmen, too.
Like I feel like you keep making this a
Contractors.
man and woman thing, and I just think honestly it is a class-based thing. I also think across
But
the
you
world.
said that women are moving towards prestigious jobs.
Yeah, I think both men and
So isn't that boosting them up in the class in their own mind?
Yes. It definitely is.
class.
Actually, yes. Like, there's a lot of girls, like, they get a university degree, they get a university career, and even though they're getting paid less than the, plumber or an electrician, they disdain those men because those men don't have a university degree, so they look down on them. That's a real thing. That's in 2024. Real thing.
Dynamics are very complicated.
You say that a lot. You say it's complicated, it's
society's
dynamic, it's
complicated.
multifaceted.
Yeah,
But no,
absolutely.
yeah. I think society is complicated, but I think most ideas can be reduced to singular core principles or singular core things which the idea expands from. And what I think happens here a lot is you say it's complex, it's multifaceted, there's a lot of factors here as a mode of obfuscation, ultimately.
I'm not trying to obfuscate.
I think you don't want to answer. So like for instance, when you say, I would invest my life savings in that female prison. Hang on, that was the question.
Okay.
I said, between these two prisons, would you invest your life savings in this one or that one if you only had the choice between the two? You say the woman's prison. I actually don't believe you. I literally don't believe you. It's not believable to me that you would say that.
You don't have to believe me. From my perspective and point of view, when it comes to that example, I specifically specified, to me, it depends on speed and accuracy.
Yeah.
Going back to the trade jobs, I also think when we look globally, most people in, let's say, like, let's use China, for example, who are working hard labor jobs are not getting paid very well. Most people globally who are doing hard, labor jobs are not getting paid very well. I think part of the reason why these jobs have historically, not anymore, hopefully it's changing for the better. I agree that they should be more respect. Labor is labor. Call me a socialist hippie, I don't care. Part of the reason for this is because for a long time, it was seen as something that anybody can learn. Anybody can learn a trade if they really want to, whatever.
Anybody can learn anything, really.
Now, we've moved so much to a service society that not as many people are learning how to do that labor. So that creates a higher demand for that labor because there's not as much people who are willing to supply that because they can't. But I still don't think the stigma has completely reversed or changed. I think that there are more people talking about how those jobs should be valued, which I agree with. But I still think that the vast majority of people are told, you go to college, go to college, go to college, go to college, go to college.
But I mean, that's being...
Freaking disaster. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all for notifications. Go buy my books, like Hunter M, Adrian R, Tom and Bobby, Dylan, Renaissance Press, Brian, Andrew, Alan, Armani, Nicholas. Shout outs to you, most recent purchaser of both my books, Strategist Guide to Seduction and Quotes to Live By. Thank you. My books can be bought at bit.ly/heliosbooks. If you want coaching like Nicholas H, just send me an email. I'll slot you right in. It's theheliosblog@gmail.com. And I also offer early access content on my Patreon. Thank you so much for listening, guys, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.